So those of you who know me know how much I adore Bruce Hornsby. He is at the top of the pyramid for me, and there's a very good reason why. I've always thought that Bruce is really like 10 different musicians wrapped up in one. For some, he's a jazz pianist. For some, he's a classical pianist who plays crazy avant-garde 20th century classical music. For others, he's a folk musician. For some, he's a singer-songwriter. For some, he's that guy from the 80s. He's a million different things in one and can do almost anything. I've really never seen anything quite like it. And this song, The Way It Is, I mean, come on, this is like the mother of all piano intros. Everybody wants to learn this at some point. Some people think it's a Tupac song, which is funny, and others know it to be Bruce's big hit from 1986 from the album called The Way It Is. So I'm going to show you guys how to play it in order of easy sections all the way to the hardest part, which is the intro. Okay, so like I said earlier, working out of order for the sake of making things easy, let's start with this part, the chorus. So this is the easiest part of the song by far. So what you're going to do is take your right hand and play A, B, G. It's almost an octave gap, but not quite. Like that. Use 1, 2, and 5. Now bring it down a little bit to G, A, E. So the distance closed in a little bit. So A, B, G, G, A, E, and then way down to D, E, G, which I like to use 2, 3, and 5 for because it's not too much of a gap at all. These notes are pretty close together. So all in all, you get this. So just try that a few times. Now on the left hand, I like to play power chords. So that means the root and fifth of a chord. So G and D, which is a G power chord. F and C, which is an F power chord. And then C. So sometimes power chords are labeled as G5, F5, C5, meaning that it's just root and fifth. So you might see that sometimes in sheet music. So G, F, C. And all together, it looks like this. And I'm holding the pedal for each of the 3 chords, and I'm lifting in between so it doesn't become a mess. So something like this. Lift, lift. Okay, so lift your foot up quickly and put it back down for each one. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. Man, it makes me happy already just playing that. If you haven't already done it, please consider subscribing and liking this video. It's so helpful with the growth of this channel. Thank you. So once you've got that, let me show you the chords that he plays underneath the singing on the verse. So it looks something like this. So let me show you what's going on here. Let's start with the left hand roots. A, E, D, C, G, D, and then hold the C. I'll play it again. If this is too difficult, you don't have to play octaves. You can play single notes like this. Now the right hand looks like this. E, G, A, C. I like 1, 2, 3, 5. This is an A minor 7. And then D, G, B, which will become an E minor 7. We just don't have the root yet to make that an E minor 7. So I know it looks like something else. Then D major chord, plain old root position, D, F sharp, A. Then plain old C major chord, C, E, G. Now here's where it gets fun. You can let go of the middle note, the E, which is the third, and bring it down to a D with the second finger, which makes it a C sus2. So when you get rid of the third degree, the E, and bring it down to the second degree in C major, that becomes C sus2, suspended 2. So together that was... So somewhere in the middle of that C chord, Bruce will typically shift to the C sus2. Sometimes he won't, so that's up to you. After that, just move your thumb down if you're on the C sus2. B, D, G gives you a G chord in an inversion. And then, I love this chord. This is D major add 4. So let me tell you guys what's going on here. If I rearrange the notes, A, D, F sharp, G, in more of a root position formation, like this, you can see it's just a D major chord. 1, 3, 5, right? With the 4 added. So we call it D major add 4. Because G in the world of D, 1, 2, 3, 4, is the 4th degree. And Bruce will do this. He'll just invert it this way because it sounds a little bit better. So A, D, F sharp, G. And then we're going to go back to our C major chord, opening up the possibility, of course, for another C sus2 if you wish. So all of those chords look like this. Something like that. One more time. So when you combine the two hands, you have the verse. If you're able to do that, and of course, you can basically play the song. Now I have to show you guys the intro and of course the part where the band kicks in and the piano is pretty busy. So this is why I'm kind of ramping you towards the intro, because things get progressively more and more difficult. So let me start by playing the introduction for you guys very slowly. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's incredibly lush and detailed. Still blows me away, honestly. So I'm not actually going to separate the hands because I think that might make things harder and it's just going to take too long. So if you need to repeat anything, just go back in the video. This intro is about 8 or 9 bars. The time feel is very, very free though, so it almost doesn't matter. You can stretch this out or contract it however you want. So I'm going to move piece by piece with you guys in order to make this easy. So here's the very first thing you're going to do. So let me break that down. We're going to start with 3 in the right hand and play A, B, C. 3, 4, 5. When I land on the 5, I play this chord, which is A minor 7, E, G, A, C. And I hit it twice. After that, I come down to D, G, and B, which will be part of an E minor 7. So again, the left hand will just hit A and E, which are the roots, and they hit at these moments. Watch this. Like that. Once you're cool with that, your right hand is going to play D and A together with 1 and 4, then quickly down to a G with 3, and now watch this. Big shift. Left hand is going to go D, A, F sharp. This is a 10th. Huge span, but Bruce has giant hands, so he's able to stretch this. If you can't do it, I'll show you something else later. But for now, this is what you have to do. D, A, F sharp in the left, and E, F sharp, D in the right hand. Like that. Now, once you do that, I'm going to add one more note with the 3rd finger in the right hand, which is A. It's going to kind of get flicked. It's a 16th note, so watch this. Okay? Now once you have that, I'm going to repeat the D in the right hand, but now my bottom fingers move down to E and G, like that. So, next, I'm going to play D and F sharp, then a C major chord, and now we're going to move the left hand down to C, G, E, like that, another big stretch. And the right hand is going to play D and G together, and flick up to an E, back to D and G, C and G, B and G. That's a lot of stuff. So let me show you that second portion again. So it goes like this. Like that. And from the beginning, moving on to the next bar, we will play a G power chord with the left hand, which is a nice, small little span for your fingers. It's a G and D. And the right hand will play A and D with 2 and 5, like that. Then use 3 in the right hand to play a B, and thumb to play a G. So you get this. After that, left hand moves down to D power chord, and you're going to do triplets in the right hand that sound like this. So that's 2 sets of triplets, 6 notes. So that measure is. Now let me show you one more bar, which is the conclusion to that phrase. We are going to play C, G, E in the left hand, which you've done before. So we're back to the big spans in the left hand. And the right hand just has 1 set of triplets, 3 notes, E, D, G. Like that. So backing up a little bit, it'll make sense. Check this out. Like that. So that's 4 bars. That's half of your intro. Let me go back to the top and put that together for you guys so you can hear it. Let's deal with the second half now. You're going to move way up the keyboard. Up here, this should look familiar, but it's just a couple of octaves higher. So we're going to play A, B, and then EAC together like that. It looks like this. I like 3 and 4 to start, and then 1, 3, and 5 for the chord. Left hand at the same time will go way up above middle C and play A and C together, like this. Once you have that, the right hand will come down to play B, A, G. Like that. And when you land on that G, the left hand will play E, B, and D together. Like that. So it sounds like this. Again. Now moving on, you're going to play A, B, and then land on D and A in the right hand. And as soon as you play that D and A in the right hand, left hand comes down a bit to the middle C area and plays A, D, F sharp. Like that. So you get this. Once you do that, come down a bit with the right hand and play G, F sharp, and then land on C, E. This works well with 5, 4, 1, and 3. As soon as you land on the 1 and 3 on C and E, left hand plays a C major chord, like this, G, C, E. So what we just did in that second half so far was like that. I'm not going to lie to you, the last part is difficult, but after this it's over. So what we're going to do is play D, C, D with the right hand. Pinky, 4, pinky. As soon as you land on the last pinky on D, you have to play G with your left hand like this. Then D with both hands. I like to use 2 in the left hand, thumb in the right hand. And then D and G in the right hand, while the left hand, you use the thumb to play A and B together like that. It's kind of odd. So in total, and once you have that, just attack D and B in the right hand. So you get this. If you're okay with that, move on to D, A, F sharp left hand, big stretch that you've done before, like that. And the right hand will play E, F sharp, D, like that. We've done this. And after that, you're gonna flick your third finger up to an A, like that, and then E and G, and then D and F sharp, C and E, and then B, D, G, which is a G major chord. So in total, and those last three hits are triplets, so like this. So you can hear how I went triplet. The rhythm changed a little bit. So this whole measure it's very lush and very beautiful. This is definitely the hardest measure. I've spent sometimes weeks or several lessons on this with students, so don't freak out if you have to go back and just take your time with it. And finally, the very last thing is back down to a C, G, E in the left hand, like that. And the right hand will play D and G with 2 and 5, and that 2 on D will kind of flick upward to an E. And after that, D, C, B, D, G. So you get this. Let me back up a bar so you hear the whole thing. And that's the intro. It's pretty dense. If these big stretches in the left hand aren't working for you, you can just play the bottom notes in the left hand. You can just play the roots. So for example, if this is too difficult, just play D. Like that. It's not going to sound much worse. Maybe just a little less thick, but it'll be fine if you're not able to do those stretches. Now, when we get to the end of this intro, there's kind of a pause here and the drums come in, right? And this cool little chord comes in the right hand, which is D, G, B, C. It's kind of like a C major add 9, right? Because the D is the 9. And then A, D, A, and then finally G, D, G. By now the drums have come in and we're in time. So this has to be done a very specific way. I'll try to count out loud and show you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Like that. So lots of and of ones and of fours. I'll do it again slowly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2, 3, 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we're going to be basically into the song. So this is the last section that I have to show you. This is kind of the instrumental groove section that happens between the piano intro and the verse that I showed you guys earlier. It goes something like this. And that happens twice. So it's really derived from all the stuff I've shown you already. So if you've gotten past the chorus, the verse chords, the intro, this is gonna feel easy for you and like you've heard and or played it before. So here's what we're gonna do. Left hand is just single notes, A, E, D, C, G, D, C. Same as the verse, right? We already talked about that. And the right hand, we've done that before. Now we're gonna come down with 4 on A, 3 on G, D major triad. This is kind of new, D and B, and then D and G with 2 and 5. So that looks like this. Then we will play E, D, C, and then B and D together, like this. This is kind of tough finger-wise, so I do 3, 2, 1, and then a quick cross to 2 and 4, like that. Then lift your hand up to G major, which is inverted, D, G, B. Bring it up, E, A, C. Bring it back down. And then A, G with 3 and 2, or whatever you like. And then I move the hand to D and G, and typically play that twice. So that looks like this. So all of the right hand is slowly with the left hand. One more time. Then you would go into the simple verse that I showed you a long time ago now. This is when the lyrics come in. And then eventually after the verses. So with this intro, instrumental groove section with the band, verse, and chorus, you have all 4 parts that you need to put this song together. Now, of course, there is an epic piano solo, but that's a whole other video. So if you guys really want it, I will teach it to you. Let me know. In my opinion, this is the best way to work through the way it is. This is my favorite song of all time. So I hope this video does it justice. I hope it's helpful to you guys. Please consider subscribing, and I'll see you all in the next one.